Okay, so you've probably seen the headlines, right? Potential strikes at ports all up and down the East Coast and the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, and people are probably thinking, ooh,
Yeah,
not supply chain problems again.
definitely. And it's understandable to be concerned. We're talking serious deadline, less than 24 hours from now. So we're doing a deep dive today into a breaking news piece from the Associated Press to get into the weeds of what's happening and what it could mean for you.
Sounds good.
So let's lay it all out there. 45,000 workers. That's how many people we're talking about here. They're members of the International Longshoremen's Association, the ILA.
Right.
And these are the folks that are literally keeping those huge cargo ships moving, loading and unloading everything from bananas to cars at 36 different ports. And right now, they are at a standstill with the U.S. Maritime Alliance. That's the group that represents the ports.
Right.
And it probably won't surprise you to learn that it comes down to money.
Of course.
The ILA is asking for a 77% pay raise over 6 years.
77%.
Yeah, 77. It sounds like a lot, right?
Yeah.
But the union's argument is that a lot of their workers depend on overtime just to make ends meet, so they want to see that better reflected in their base pay.
Makes sense.
And then on top of all that, there's the automation issue.
Right, like everywhere else.
Exactly. Like a lot of industries, port work is seeing more and more technology, and that makes workers worried about their jobs being replaced.
Yeah.
So you've got this double whammy of pay disputes and job security just fueling everything.
Yeah, you can see why they might be ready to walk.
Exactly. And to your point earlier, this is about so much more than just what's happening on the docks, right? This potential strike, it kind of speaks to these larger anxieties that people are feeling about their jobs and what the future holds, with automation and everything.
Absolutely. And what's interesting here is that the ILA hasn't gone on strike since 1977.
Wow.
Yeah, we're talking about almost 50 years of labor peace.
Wow, I didn't realize it had been that long.
So the fact that it's gotten to this point, it just shows you how high the stakes are for both sides.
For sure. So we've got these competing pressures, this ticking clock, and a whole lot of tension. But let's get down to brass tacks. What does this all mean for the average person? Are we talking empty shelves at the grocery store? Are we talking about holiday gifts stuck out at sea somewhere?
Well, the short answer is yeah. A strike could really mess things up, big time. Supply chain chaos. And that means very real problems for people. We're talking possible delays, prices going up on everyday items, and yeah, maybe even shortages.
The article mentioned bananas specifically. Apparently, a ridiculous amount, something like 75% of bananas sold in the U.S. come through these ports.
Wow, 75%.
75%.
I had no idea.
Yeah. It definitely makes you realize how much we rely on a functioning system.
Right. Imagine, no bananas.
Exactly. And it's not just food, right? We're about to head into the busiest shopping season of the year.
Oh, that's right. Christmas is coming.
Exactly. And think about it. Artificial Christmas trees, all the decorations, even toys, a lot of that stuff is probably on a container ship right now headed towards these very ports.
Oh, no. So instead of sugar plums, everyone's going to have cargo ships on the brain.
Pretty much. And it goes way beyond just retail. The article even talked about what this could do to the auto industry.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, a lot of car manufacturers need parts that come in through these ports, and if those parts are stuck...
Oh, that's right, of course. Delays.
Exactly, delays. So if you're even thinking about buying a new car, might want to do it now.
Yeah, better sooner than later.
Exactly. And the article used the term ripple effect, which I think really drives home the point. It's not just about what's stuck at the port, it's how that impacts everything else. Okay, so not the most cheerful picture we've painted so far. But before we all go into full-on economic doomsday prepping mode, let's talk about what's being done to stop this strike from actually happening. What are we hearing from the negotiators? What's going on? Any hope at all?
Yeah, a little bit of hope, actually. The latest from the Associated Press is that they've both put offers on the table, and the Maritime Alliance, they've officially asked for a contract extension.
Oh, okay. So maybe we can all breathe a little easier for now. But you said ask for an extension. Are they going to get one?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Right.
And we have to remember, these two groups haven't actually sat down together since June.
Oh, wow.
So even if they get an extension, that's a lot of ground to cover in not a lot of time.
True, true. Okay, so let's talk about these offers. What are they actually proposing?
So the Maritime Alliance, they're talking about almost a 50% wage increase over 6 years.
Okay.
Which on the surface sounds pretty good. And they're offering to triple retirement contributions. That would go from 6% to 18%.
Wow.
And this is a big one. They're saying they'll keep those limits on automation in place, the ones that the union's been wanting.
Okay, so big pay bump, better retirement, and they're addressing the automation concerns. Seems like a decent deal, right? What's the catch?
You're good. Yeah, it comes down to, will this be enough to make the union happy?
Yeah.
I mean, their first ask was 77%, right?
Right.
And then there's the whole inflation problem,
Right.
Everything costs more. So a 50% raise sounds great,
Yeah.
but if the cost of living keeps going up.
Right, it's not actually a raise. So what about Biden? Is he going to jump in on this?
Well, the article mentions the Taft-Hartley Act, which is basically a way for Biden to step in and say, stop. 80-day cooling off period if he thinks this strike is really going to hurt the economy.
So he could stop it.
He could, but he doesn't seem too keen on that right now. The article makes it sound like he's letting them try to work it out themselves.
Hands-off approach.
For now. But that doesn't mean he's ignoring it. He did meet with the Maritime Alliance, urged them to figure this out fast.
Right.
And, with an election coming up, the White House has to be careful.
For sure.
You want to support workers, especially unions, but
not a crashing economy. So here we are, potential strike, up in the air, huge question marks about what happens to the economy. It's kind of a mess. What's the takeaway? So much up in the air right now. A potential strike, those negotiations, and then what happens to the economy? Like, where does this all leave us?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing here, it's like zoom out, right? Bigger picture. It's about workers, technology, and how do we make sure the economy actually works all at the same time?
Yeah. No easy answers there.
Not at all. I mean, on one side, you've got people who just want to make a living, right? And their jobs are on the line, literally, because of these new technologies. And then there's technologies like marching on,
Right.
supposed to be more efficient, do things better. But that often means jobs going away.
And the crazy thing is we need both, right? We need workers and we need progress if we want the economy to be okay. And nobody has figured out that magic formula, how to make everybody happy.
That's it. That's the million-dollar question. How do we make sure things are fair for workers? Because that fear is real, that their jobs are going to disappear. But we can't just stop progress either, right? So how do we do both? It's a tough one, and honestly, we all need to be thinking about this because things are changing so fast.
It really makes you think this isn't just some abstract problem, right? It's people's lives. It's our future.
It is. And hopefully it's something that everyone listening will kind of carry with them. This isn't the end of the conversation,
Exactly. There are no easy answers. But hopefully we've given everyone some food for thought. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and be sure to check back in for our next episode, where we'll tackle another timely and fascinating topic.